Hey everyone, Horseman here, and today I'm going to bring to you a video about non-set legendary weapons. This will come in the form of one-handed and two-handed weapons. There's been a massive update to Necromancer as it was brought back up onto the beta, and if we go to Dank Miam here, he does offer a bunch of new sets that we can purchase for 200 blood shards each. And as far as weapons and whatnot, I will not be covering the whatever the hell that is, arms. That is a legendary scythe and shield for that particular set. This is only going to be covering specifically the one-handed pack scythes as well as the two-handed scythes here, these two packs. I will be making more videos for the legendary armaments, the phylacteries, the rings and amulets together, so please stay tuned for all of those in the future. So the first thing I'm going to do is go over each of these weapons. I'm sure you're dying to see what they look like and see what passives they offer, so I'm going to go ahead and go through them real quick. Okay, so the first one is the Funerary Pick. It is a one-handed scythe that enables you to have siphon blood drain blood from 2 additional targets. This is what it's going to look like. Very simple. And this is actually something that I've noticed with most of the weapons that have been added into the game, is that all of them are very simplistic looking weapons, nothing ornate about them, which I find a little disheartening, and you'll see what I'm talking about later. Next up, the Tragul's Corroded Fang. Now, I'm currently utilizing this weapon because actually I think it's kind of neat. It has some great abilities. The Cursed Scythe rune for Grim Scythe now has a 100% chance of applying a curse. Now, mind you, using Cursed Scythe, enemies have a chance to be inflicted with a random curse, so you do have the ability of getting every single curse onto the enemy, which is really neat. And again, if you're also using the passive Eternal Torment, right here, where curses cost 50% less, and the key here, last forever. So getting all of those on there can yield some good benefits to you as the player. In terms of its appearance, it is a rusted scythe. It is heavily corroded. It's ugly. I'm fairly disappointed with this, as well as I see a lot of benefit coming to utilizing this with the Saint set, due to the fact that it seems like the Saint set is more geared for melee type attacks. And the only reason why I'm disappointed is because of its actual appearance. So, lastly, of the one-handed scythes, we have here your secondary skills deal 297 additional damage while bone armor is active, but reduce the remaining duration of bone armor by 4 seconds. So anything that I have in my secondary skill slot here is going to deal that much more damage out of a possible 300%. Now again, I think that this is also going to be one of those weapons that is going to go well with this set, which is why I ended up putting it in my queue, Scythe the Cycle. In terms of appearance, you got that crescent moon appearance to it, but still fairly simplistic. Nothing too ornate, nothing flashy. I'm not sure if they're going to be adding any type of aura. I have noticed that there are a few legendaries that they've included in here that do not have any type of aura. So I'm wondering if they're going to add one. Okay, in terms of our two-handed variety, I'm going to start off with the Blood Tide Blade. Death Nova deals 17% increased damage for every enemy within 10 yards. I can see this as being very beneficial for both the Saint set as well as the Blood set. And this is how it looks. It has that Malthael type of aura, but still a very simple, very sleek looking weapon model. See a little bit of a visual bug there. Right there. Don't see it on that side, but you see it on that side. Again, I think it's a little bit too simplistic. There is so much that can be done in terms of making a scythe look good, and it seems like they're not going that route, and I am pretty disappointed in that, and because I was kind of hoping for a nice, good-looking bone scythe. Not a lot of folks seem to be able to do scythes well. Blizzard should be very good at it. I mean, look at World of Warcraft, the Warlock, and even the Boomkin scythes. They're all really good looking, but then we get plain Jane. Alright, anyway, moving on. The Spear of Jeseth. Thorns is increased by 12% for every enemy afflicted by one of your curses. This is what it looks like, your typical javelin, but some things to note here is that we see the cuts, we see battle damage here, unevenness, as well as chips in the details, but it also looks rusted and corroded. Shaft is very plain, very simple, and to be honest, this thing is not much to look at. I can't see myself transmogging into this. Next, the Dread Golem Spike. Bone Spear now costs 40 essence and deals 142% increased damage. Bone Spear normally costs 20 essence. So we're doubling the cost here, but we're getting an extra bonus to the damage. And if you're lucky enough, you can get up to 150%. Is it worth it? Possibly. You'd have to work with it. And this is what it looks like. Very skinny shaft with a long blade, curved blade. It looks more like a pole arm than it does a scythe. Again, the amount of detail that's in it is decent, but again, it just seems underwhelming. The next is going to be Death's Scythe. Death's Scythe. Each different poison skill you use increases the damage of your poison skills by 78%. I can see this as being beneficial for just about any set that you use, because poison is, just as an example, I'm using Death Nova here as well as Grim Scythe, Bone Armor, but I guess it does come at a sacrifice for something else that might be cool, like for instance this or this. Its appearance is that of a raven skull or some type of bird skull. Again, when I think of death, yes, ravens do come to mind, but mostly I would think of like skeletons. And I, again, saw this as a perfect opportunity to have a really wicked looking bone scythe. And so it was slightly disappointing. Another good build I think this would go with would be my a pet build, because of the amount of damage that your pets do. If you put some type of poison rune on it, it would be great. Lastly, I'm going to be going over Relina's Shadow Hook. Bone spikes generate 4 additional essence for each enemy hit. Again, I think this is going to be one of those weapons that might be good for the Plague set. Once again, very simplistic in nature. Bone shaft with wraps. Got a bit of your essence type aura here with the small shepherd-like hook. A fairly disappointing appearance. Some other items of note for this particular video that I will point out is the inclusion of Necromancer class banner customization items, if you will. The first one is going to be the shape. Necromancer shape now gives us a neat looking skull shape. We also get some Necromancer achievement sigils, as well as the different set rift sigils. Plague, Bone, Saint, and Blood. Of course, they're now named slightly different, but I will always know them. as such. One other thing of note is the fact that the set pieces now have their own names. No longer is it the Plague set, the Bone set, the Blood set, and the Saint set. The sets, which is still subject to change, is now the Pestilence Master's Shroud for the Plague set. Bones of Rathma for the Bone set. Tragul's Avatar, the Blood God. And then, lastly, we have Inarius's Understanding. Really neat. Alright, so that wraps up this video. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please post it in the comment section below. And let me know if there's anything in particular that you would like to see. Until next time, Horseman out.